War Eagle War Report family, I'm your host, C Dub. Auburn football gets a guy out of the transfer portal. Also, Auburn gymnastics gets big news this upcoming week or this past week. We discuss all that and more in this Mother's Day edition of the Weekend Tailgate.
You are now listening to a War Report Weekend Tailgate, brought to you by
Athletic Architect.
It's your boy, I Jones. Be Will, C-Dog, Mike G. Get ready, sit on back as we bring you the War Report Weekend Tailgate.
War Eagle, happy Sunday and happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers, especially the mothers who are watching us on our live show. We hope you have a great, wonderful day. Guys, you know what it is. I'm joined by Mike G, Ike Jones. B. Will is out today on dad duty. But we're back, and this is our latest and greatest, brought to you by a new show sponsor, Athletic Architects. In the new age of NIL, Athletic Architects seeks to empower the student athlete by equipping them with both financial and business knowledge. If you are a student athlete or parent of a student athlete, please visit them at buildthehouse.com. Shout out to them for sponsoring our show and supporting us. Also, we want to thank you guys for supporting us as well. And you already know what to do. If you're on social media, watching us live or on replay, do us a favor and share this video using hashtag #GetYourWeightUp. Help people find our content. That's greatly appreciated. Also, you need to become a patron. Ike, tell them why.
You know, patron stuff, it's the month of May. I told you we turning up in the month of May. Part of the turn up is aided by the new show sponsor, Mike G. will get into that a little bit more. But hey, check your boys out, right? So we've been doing a lot of work out here in these streets. And if you're a patron, you are going to get all of the goodies coming up, man. So make sure that you get on board with that. Patron level membership is $5.99. And we have some new things that we're going to be unveiling over this month, man. So y'all make sure you get on board with the War Report. Support us at $3.99, patron level $5.99. Get all the good stuff. Y'all know we're out here doing the hashtag Save the Puppies. The Lee County Humane Society is out here doing the good work. We're just trying to put a little of our dollars with it, mix with your dollars to make sure that we all can do our part to save all of these animals that are out here. So make sure that you go and hit the GoFundMe that is located in the About section on the YouTube, or you can go to the website. You can find that link there. 50 cents on every dollar goes to the Lee County Humane Society. I'm going to do the Weagle shirt today, man. Weagle, war damn eagle, kick them in the butt, Big Blue. Hey, go ahead and put hashtag Get Your Weight Up in the comments. Sponsored by GWT2 Energy Consulting Services. That's our guy Walt Taylor out there in the comments section. You can get one of these shirts for free. All you got to do is hashtag, and then may whatever God you pray to be in your favor. And we just gonna push the button, and then you can get your shirt.
May Zeus deliver this t-shirt to me.
You know, hey, listen, I don't know what y'all do with your spare time, you know, but listen, you can get you a free shirt today. Just hashtag Get Your Weight Up in the comments. Of course, we are doing the podcast thing. The War Report podcast is available wherever you listen to podcasts. If you are out there on your Sunday drive going to see your mom and you can't watch the YouTube, hey, you could be on the podcast. If you're doing that right now, then you didn't even hear me say that. But next time, you're going to remember that you can pull us up on podcasts and get all of this great War Report content. And of course, Mike, you're going to talk a little bit more about our current situation.
Yeah, listen. So the turn up is real at the War Report. And we have a new Sunday show sponsor. So you can see it at the top here. Athletic Architects. I'm really excited about this partnership that we've got with them. You guys have heard us talk about financial education for athletes, and with NIL, there's a lot that athletes have to deal with today. So I remember listening to a speech that Coach Harsin recently gave at the Atlanta Auburn Club. And he talked about a lot of his players saying, Coach, what are taxes? Well, guess what? Athletic Architects is here to help athletes and their parents get set up for the influx of money that's going to be coming in. So we at the War Report, we started a business. We went to somebody to start an LLC. Get on the books, open business bank accounts, do all those things. There are a lot of financial benefits to having a legal pass-through. And athletes need to know this. Athletic Architects is here to help simplify the process. Now, I will tell you, when I went to go set up our LLC, I said, Ike, I'm going to go set up the LLC. He said, cool. Then I started filling out the paperwork, and I was like, nope. And I called a lawyer, and they got it all done for us. So that's essentially what they're doing. And it's a service to our community, really. So if you can do it yourself, or they can do it for you. And we're so excited about this partnership. Before we get into today's content, I just want to play this one little ad spot for you guys on Athletic Architects. Check them out.
Young athletes need the tools for success on the field and on the court. And now more than ever, in the arena of business. In the new era of name, image, and likeness, Athletic Architects is here for young athletes and parents to help prepare for your financial futures. Let Athletic Architects start helping you build your house. Visit buildthehouse.com and let's build.
Ike Jones on the voiceover there. We're excited about this partnership with them. So we partner with them to help athletes get set up for their financial future by educating themselves. Athletic Architects will get you started, or they'll handle the whole process for you from start to finish. Now, let's say you're not an athlete and you want to get an LLC started for any reason. They can help you too. No discrimination at Athletic Architects. So please support us by supporting our sponsors, buildthehouse.com. Check out Athletic Architects. We're super excited about our partnership with them.
Thanks so much for that, Mike G. Guys, how y'all doing, man? I know it's been kind of a slow week, Auburn athletics wise, but how y'all doing?
Hey, man, no complaints, Ben. Once again, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. Going to go see my mom here in just a little bit once we get done. So, hey, no issues today. I had a show last night, so if my voice sounds a little raspy, then that's probably why. But
Mike rock the show, doing his thing as one of the best lyricists in the state of Alabama and in the world.
Hey, listen, I'll take all that gas, bro.
Yeah. Top 5, dead or alive.
Yeah, all that.
Living legend.
Yeah, all that.
Oh man. I
had a few more, but we're gonna get on.
Yeah, all that.
Yeah. Happy Mother's Day to my mom as well. Greatest woman that's ever womaned. She raised us.
Mama Giddens supposed to be in the comment section today on Mother's Day supporting. That's how it's supposed to be.
So does that mean for Mother's Day she gets a gift? You cannot drop.
No curses today. No cursing today. No cursing today.
No cursing today. You hear that, John? Yeah.
No cursing today. It's Mother's Day to honor my mom and her wishes. I will keep it. I'll keep it rated Disney today. So.
For sure. Well, listen, let's get into it, guys. Auburn picked up someone out of the transfer portal.
What?
Weird.
Yeah. And I butchered the utter crap out of his name a few days ago when it was announced. But since then, I've learned how to pronounce it. It's Dzalen Worsham. He is now an Auburn Tiger. A little bit of information and insight on this young man. Of course, he is transferring from Miami. I believe he played a game with them. He, of course, was a former 3-star recruit in the 2020 class. He held multiple offers, 20-plus offers, including Bama, Clemson, Georgia, from us, A&M, many others. He is out of Trussville, Alabama, so this is another homecoming. He is at 6'1", 175 pounds. Says he did 3 starts in 2020. And this is the latest. Now, we did a facts or nah.
Yeah, we did.
We did a facts or nah. It was me, Ike, Mike G, and Zach Blackerby. Shouts out to him. Guys, you can definitely check out his content. He posts stuff daily. Great content. Friend of the show. In our facts or nah, we said, was Auburn going to get a receiver out of the transfer portal? There was only one person out of us who said facts on this. No real conviction, but he said facts.
Hold on, don't water it down like that.
Of course I'm gonna water it down.
Don't water it down like that. Facts
but Mike G was right. Mike G was correct. So Mike G, how you feeling about this announcement? How you feeling about this kid? The wide receiver room gets bigger. We get a new addition out of the portal, and our activity in the portal isn't dead, as evidenced by this guy. What are your thoughts, sir?
Well, first and foremost, after interviewing Jay Fair, I'm massively excited about the type of guys this staff is looking to bring in.
Yeah.
So they are clearly trying to revamp the culture, and they're almost there. They're almost there with the culture remodel that they were aiming for when they came in. So this kid is part of that. And I understand he's got, a few years of eligibility left. And I think it's exciting. It's exciting to see them get in the guys that they're targeting, that they've evaluated. And this year, we'll start to get a better understanding of what that talent evaluation looks like and how it translates to success on the field. So I'm excited about it. I think that it never hurts. We've got scholarships available. So bringing somebody in was always a good idea. It was a real good idea to bring somebody in. And I'm excited, but that doesn't mean I'm any less excited about the guys who we already have in the room. Ike and I sat down with Jay Fair. Jay, just an exemplary young man, like just the best guy, right? And I was super excited about, his ability as well as the type of representative he's going to be for Auburn athletics. Real articulate kid. He works hard. He's got an edge to him. He's got a little bit of attitude, and it seemed very coachable. I would assume if these coaches are bringing this kid in, he's in that same mode. He's in that Jay Fair mode. And that's exciting, man. People should be excited about that. We said it before. Last year, we had 60% of the team tugging the other direction. This year, we don't have that. And if they can get a few things right, this is really exciting. So we went out and we got somebody in the portal. I'm excited more so that it's another guy that Harson's bringing in. That's his guy. But I want to stress, I'm still excited about the kids that we currently have in the room that chose to stay. Malcolm Johnson, Jay Fair, Dawson, all these guys. I think these guys can make an impact this year and make an exponential jump over what we saw last year, based on what we've been hearing has been happening this offseason. So excited. I feel good about it. I wonder if he's going to be. He's got a lot of eligibility left. So
4 years.
Yeah, so there's some pressure to get him on the field this year, I think. So I'll be interested to see how quickly they end up putting him out there, because I think it'll either say something about how good they think he is or about the state of our current room if he comes in and takes a spot from a guy who's been here all spring.
Ike, I read up on this kid, and his former coach, Hewitt Trustful's head football coach, Josh Floyd, had positive things to say. Obviously, so he coached him for a few years, but he would know him better than anyone, even though we've yet to see him. And he praised him for being a great route runner, has really good speed, and also talked about him doing a really good job of getting in and out of his breaks. And one of the things that he also praised him about is how well he does on one-on-one situations. And so looking at some of the film, I don't know if any of you guys got a chance to check out some of his old highlight stuff from high school, but he seems like a guy who has the ability to take the top off of a defense, but he's the type of receiver you want to get him in space and just let him work, right? And just make plays. What are your thoughts on this new addition to the wide receiver room? Because it almost kind of seems like he's in the mold of a few other receivers. To Mike G's point,
mm-hmm.
it seems like Carson has a type of receiver he's looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I would say. I mean, similarly to my comments about the quarterback room, right? Like it seems like there's a mold of guy that he wants to try to put in the room. And it's guys, when I look at the film on him, he seems like he doesn't seem like he's like blazing fast, right? Like he's not like some, from again, talking to Jay Fair, everybody runs a 4.3, Robbie, everybody take top. I don't think he's that fast. I think he's more quick than fast. But it seems like he's one of those guys who, he can take a 5-yard route though, because he runs it with pretty good precision and then take it to the house, just based upon getting the early separation, being able to be quick in a short space. I think that he'll be able to do that sort of thing. So it'll be interesting to see. He's not like a big body receiver. And I didn't see a lot of like jump balls that he was winning, but I did see, like they were running a lot of just kind of tunnel bubble screen type stuff for him in high school. And, he could take it upfield and get upfield really quickly. I watched a little bit of his spring game highlights from Miami. Same kind of stuff. He did have, he catches well with his hands. That's one of the things I like to see in a receiver, not doing a lot of body catches in traffic. Like trust your hands in traffic, and catches in tight windows. Like he was able to do that. He was really strong with his hands. So I did like what I was able to see a little bit from him, even in his spring game stuff at Miami. So it's showing it against some collegiate competition. So yeah, I think it's going to be interesting seeing the competition that's going to come up from that wide receiver room here coming into the fall.
And let's talk about the wide receiver room in depth with the addition of DeZalen coming in. To Mike G's point, you guys, if you haven't watched it already, we released last week an interview we did with wide receiver Jay Fair, and about a 20-minute interview. So when you're done watching this, please head over and check that out if you haven't already. Great content from that. And he talked a lot about the receiver room, and he has said his words that this room has improved. Let's look at that room. Of course, these guys are listed by their numbers. Of course, much has been made about Dawson, Tavares Dawson. Of course, Jay Fair, Javaris Johnson came back to the team. He entered the portal early in the year, came back, and even participated some in the spring. Of course, much has been made about Shed, Malcolm Johnson Jr. That he's a favorite here at the War Report. And you got Jackson Billings, Tommy Nesmith, Trent Mason, Zay, J.J. Evans, and Jake Cruz, and then DeZalen Worsham. One of the things that Jay Fair talked about in the interview with you guys was Ike Hilliard, and how he's a laid back guy, but he's big on competition. And Jay went even far to say that this receiver room has already improved with Ike Hilliard already being there in terms of chemistry and him pushing the guys to compete. What does that say about guys like DeZalen coming in and the culture that they're trying to set? How excited does that make you about this team? Of course, they still got to have someone getting the ball, but guys understanding the route running, they can run the route, they can do the things that the coaches are asking them to do. Already, Hilliard's getting high praise. What did you take from that point that Jay Fair made?
I think that this kid coming in, DeZalen, if he's not ready to work, this new culture is going to chew him up and spit him out pretty quickly. So that was, I thought it was a very powerful comment that he talked about competition increasing now that Ike Hilliard is at the helm of that receiver room.
Yeah.
So you got an NFL guy who also played in the SEC. He knows what these kids are going through and what they're up against. Yeah. So he can relate and coach them in a very unique way, I think, that is going to pay dividends in the fall. It could. So if the season started today, Malcolm Johnson and Shedrick Jackson are definitely running out there. This is my thoughts. I don't even know if that's that debatable. The season started today. Shedrick Jackson and Malcolm Johnson are going out there on the field. Beyond them, you got a bunch of guys who are fighting to be 3s and 4s to get on the field. We're going to be running tight end sets, and there's going to be a myriad of options out there for the quarterback to throw to. And when you get your shot, you got to make the most of it. And that's what competition is about. If you're going to throw the other guy 10 balls and you're going to throw me 5 balls, I'm catching all 5 of mine. Because as far as I'm concerned, if I catch everything and he gets 5 more balls than me, that's 5 more chances for him to miss. Meanwhile, I'm not letting any chance get by me. And that's what these kids have to do. You have to take advantage. It's no matter what people say, it's never even, man. There's always a front runner. That front runner always gets the first crack. He always gets a few more reps. And if you want to overtake him, you got to be better than him and fewer opportunities. Ike Hilliard is pushing that mantra here. Prove to me that you deserve more reps than we're giving you, and you'll get it. So that's life. Some guys are going to get more opportunities than others, but I'm looking forward to seeing because everybody's real down on this wide receiver room. Guys, the negativity on social media about our wide receivers is, God, man, it's I want to say it's sickening. And I'm not sunshine pumping. I'm just saying, I just don't think that they were ever as bad as they're being painted to be. I think their struggles were symptomatic of an overall system problem that we were having on offense. There was just no flow anywhere on offense. Right. That's going to lead to drop balls. So with one more year under this staff in the system, I think internally there's still some things that this coaching staff has to work out. There's still some things that they have to work about their process, about, of how they're getting installs in and how they're communicating the game plan to people. But they're learning, and I'm just holding out hope that this year we'll see that room take a step forward, because I really just don't think that they are the weak link they're being painted out to be. Not any more than the offensive line or the quarterbacks were. In my opinion, I don't think the wide receivers were any more of a problem than those other 2 position groups.
Right. There's a quote here from Lawrence. It says, Harsin just seems to be building the talent around his multiple offense style. Auburn should be able to run and pass pretty effectively this season. Now, something that Jay Fair also said is, Mike asked him towards the end, what can fans expect to see from this group? And he noted more consistency in the downfield passing attack. In terms of this offense taking a step forward, we kind of already talked about it, but just care to elaborate more on how critical that's going to be to Auburn's ability to run or even just throw the short to intermediate type stuff?
Yeah, I mean, so the downfield passing attack, of course, it's going to come down to separation and chemistry, right? Like, it's going to be, can the wide receivers get the separation, and is there chemistry between them and whoever is throwing them the ball? If that's going to happen effectively, then Auburn's going to be able to beat a lot of teams this year, just because they aren't going to be able to load the box like they want to, right? They're just not going to be able to do that. And if they do, Auburn's going to consistently make them pay. And so if we've got all of this speed and we're able to deploy it in the proper manner, we should be looking at a really dynamic offense, especially considering how many yards Tank was. I mean, we think about Tank, he had 1,000 yards last year, including the bowl game, with I don't think anybody would say a great run blocking scheme, right? So we had a mid to poor run blocking ability last year, right? And very poor downfield passing attack. And he still was able to get 1,000 yards. If you get him some guys on the offensive line who are marginally better at run blocking this season and a decent pass blocking unit that will give you time to get the ball downfield, and you're able to complete those at a higher clip, Tank's going to go crazy this year. Yeah. Like the run game is going to be that much more effective because your play action becomes that much more effective when they have to think about the fact that, okay, is this a keep, or is Tank actually getting the ball? All right, he didn't have the ball. Shoot, I'm already a step out of place because I'm thinking downhill. And then there's a guy who, again, they say they 4-3 guys out here. All right, somebody 4-3 running past my ear hole. That's danger consistently, but you have to be able to complete those passes. If you can complete them at a high clip, the run game becomes that much more effective, because then you can start doing a lot of different stuff in your formations. And draw. I don't even know if we ran a draw play last year, but you could run a draw where it's you're actually looking like you're going to set up the pass, and then you're going to go run, right? So there's just a lot of things that you can do more effectively once you begin to be able to actually have a wide receiver group that is in sync with that quarterback, specifically in those intermediate to deep throws.
Any more thoughts, Mike?
I agree. I think one-dimensional teams are very easy to defend. And in this league, everybody has athletes. Everybody's got top 25 recruiting class just about. So if you cannot do what Ike is talking about, it's going to be really difficult for them this year. That's the nut that they have to crack going into this season. I think about it in basketball. I was watching a little bit of the playoffs. When a team's back in a zone, it does them no good to play a zone if you're going to hit shots. You're drilling 3-pointers from the outside, and a team is just sitting back in the zone and you shoot. That does you no good. But if you're not going to hit shots, if they don't respect your ability to be able to hit the three, then a zone can be very effective. So we need the equivalent of shooters on this team. That's our downfield game. Passing game. We need that. We need teams to respect that so that they have to defend it. And once they back up just a little bit, it gives just that much more space. Make those linebackers think so they can't play downhill.
Mm-hmm.
Make linebackers think so they can't play downhill on our running game and come in and plug gaps and just make it harder. And if you blitz, that's got to be, man, if you blitz this team, that has to be the death of the defense. You blitz, somebody's open or somebody's one-on-one. And then we have to win those matchups. Win your one-on-one matchups. I thought part of the problem last year was we were putting the wrong guys in those one-on-one matchup situations. Shedrick Jackson, I think, is much better suited finding holes in the zone across the middle of the field, comeback routes, things of that nature.
Agreed.
Rather than throwing him fade routes and deep balls. I don't think that's his game. Use him correctly. Let Malcolm and Dawson go get those deep balls. Those are the guys who should be able to go up and win those one-on-one matchups. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a little bit of that. It's a team thing, but ultimately we need some dogs, man. We need somebody to step up here and just have an all-American type season. It just doesn't matter. You know what Jay said that I liked? We asked him about who the best DB, who's the lockdown corner now that McCreary is gone. And Jay said, listen, it don't matter who you're lining up against me. Everybody's getting that smoke. We need that. We need a guy who can line up and do that.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't matter who's across. Like I'm burning whoever. It's just a face in a jersey number. So that's what I'm looking for. I hope that maybe this kid Dzalen is bringing that to this room. And to Ike's point, I'll close with this. There is a large segment of the fan base that thinks just because a kid did not win a job someplace else, that he's no good or he's second rate.
Yeah.
And college football is chock full of examples of kids who could not beat out other guys that went other places and became superstars. So can we just kill all the negativity around these transfers, assuming just because they went someplace else and it didn't work out that they cannot be good here?
Right.
I don't get that.
But the thing that makes literally no sense about that as well is a lot of those same people will talk about how we didn't get enough players from the portal. So it's like, do you want transfer players or do you? I don't understand what we actually want as a fan base here, right? We get a transfer player in, it's like, well, they couldn't win the job elsewhere. Why would they be any good here? We don't get transfer players in. It's like, well, why aren't we winning portal battles? It's like,
it's like you're only looking for 5 guys out of the portal who are big names and who have a lot of news around them. And if you aren't getting those, there's no question about those guys because it's a big name. You look at the QB who went to South Carolina. Yeah. You look at the guy who went to USC from Oklahoma, right? Mm-hmm. Like those, if you get those guys out of the portal, it's a win. But if they don't have a lot of press behind them, or they wasn't in the limelight or a lot of highlight videos last year, it's, well, I don't know about this guy. And
I don't. Were we doing backflip? Was the fan base doing backflips because they thought we had a chance to get Echo Leota in the portal last year? I think he turned out pretty good.
Right.
He's a guy who can ball. Portal guy. I mean, where's the issue there? Right.
I saw his stats. I was like, okay, let's go.
Yeah,
let's go.
I just don't, like I said, I don't understand, man. We got so much ability on this staff, I believe, for evaluating talent, that there's no reason why, these guys can't pan out. And I think that we've done a good job of finding some contributors from the portal last season, and I expect us to do the same thing with these guys.
So just for the record, since November, we've had 21 guys jump in the portal, and we've had 6 guys come in. So net 15. Mm-hmm. That's average. That's pretty average in the SEC this year. We didn't even have the most transfers out. We didn't have a ton of transfers in, but I would argue that a lot of the guys that transferred out were not impact players. It's not like people were acting like we had starters transfer out at every position. So who transferred out? Kobe transferred out.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the one that hurts the most out of all.
I mean, the only 2 big names. I mean, and
Javaris came back.
Well, this is if we're just talking about wide receivers for sure, but like no disrespect to any of the other guys that left in the transfer portal, but the only 2 offensive players that were major contributors were Bo Nix and Kobe.
That's it.
There wasn't some huge loss especially offensively. We didn't lose a lot of guys on offense. So I don't understand why people feel like we're so talent bereft on the offensive side. It's unless you didn't like the talent we had last year, and you don't like the freshmen that we have coming in, and you don't like the trend. Like you have to there's a lot of and that gets you to a place of I don't like our offensive talent.
Right. Right. Bo left as a 3-star quarterback. He was a 3-star portal quarterback. Zach Calzada came in as a 3-star portal quarterback. So if anything, that's a net 0 as far as I'm concerned, because one was clearly a much better down the field passer.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at their statistics, they are very similar. Mm-hmm. Very similar quarterbacks. The difference being Bo Nix's ability to run, right? Like that's the thing that athletically separates him. But yeah, to your point about being able to I think, again, what this coaching staff wants specifically is the ability to complete those deep to intermediate throws, because it will allow them to do all the other stuff that they want to do underneath with the, they want to run more running back screens. They want to employ the tight end more. They want to be able to, go with a heavy package that looks like it's going to be run, but then be able to pass out of that. They want to be able to throw the bubbles and the tunnel screens. They want to be able to, do all of the things that have pro concepts involved with them. And to, frankly, the previous quarterback was more suited for a spread concept. And though we will have spread concepts involved, we have to be able to be multiple in the way that the coach wants to run the entirety of the playbook.
Right. Once you start breaking down the numbers, Ike, it's just not as bad as everybody made it out to be. Sean Shivers is part of that group that transferred out.
But like he was hurt for a portion of the year, and he barely got touches last year. So I'm not saying Sean. So again, this isn't about talent of a guy that left. I'm talking about contribution on the field last year.
And Shivers was always going to transfer regardless of whether the portal was there or not. That he left as a graduate transfer. And those guys want to play. I think it's pretty clear Sean Shivers wasn't going to be an every down back here.
Right.
He needed to go someplace where they were going to give him a chance to do that. I just don't think that's anybody's fault.
Right. Yeah, because there was too many guys in front of him that were clearly going to get all this.
Jarquez Hunter was a revelation, and it pretty much closed the idea of him getting that opportunity here at all.
Yeah.
And that's not it. I mean, that's not even his fault. Like, he got hurt and Jarquez Hunter was available. When they got him in the game, they were like, oh, well, no, this kid can actually ball. So, like, hey, just keep giving him the ball.
Yeah. Once you start factoring out the guys who were actual impact players, it's literally just a handful of guys that actually left. That did anything or were going to do anything.
Right. But I get depth, but like still.
Yeah, but the guys that we got in, DJ James, Zach Calzada, Jason Jones, these are going to be impact guys here.
Yeah. DJ James was a starter at Oregon, right? Like, it wasn't like that was not a guy who left because he couldn't see the field. He played plenty of snaps.
A lot.
Yeah.
Zach Calzada started every game in the SEC just about for his team last year.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
So I don't get it, man. It is what it is, but I'm happy Zalen Worsham chose Auburn. I'm starting to believe in this coaching staff and their ability to be able to evaluate talent. And let's just wait and see how it pays dividends on the field in the fall.
Agree. Yeah. Good conversation, gentlemen. We definitely want to hear from you guys in the comments, whether you're watching live or on the replay. Definitely want to know your thoughts on this new pickup and how this wide receiver room will look moving forward. Guys, whatever you do, please get the thumbs up, show us some love, get the engagement up. We greatly appreciate it. We will pause to acknowledge our show sponsors.
This edition of the War Report is made possible by our generous sponsors. AuburnSports.com. For news and notes on all things Auburn Sports, head over to AuburnSports.com. Athletic Architects. For young athletes looking to secure their financial future, let Athletic Architects help you to build your financial house. Head over to BuildTheHouse.com. And our giveaway sponsor, GWT2 Energy Consulting Services. If you want the best in the business at restaurant logistics, head over to GWT2Energy.com.
Yes, always thank you to the sponsors, and thank you to those of you who have decided to get a green name there in the chat. That means you are a member of the War Report, and you are greatly appreciated as well. You all make it possible for us to continue doing all the wonderful things that we are doing. $5.99 per month will get you to patron level, and for patron level things, man, you can find out about all of the wonderful things we have coming up, and I will tease one of those things in just a minute. So you guys hold your horses. We're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about some things that we got coming up. And because I'm such a nice guy, I will let you patrons get the first view of the new stuff we got coming up. Don't worry. I got you in just a minute. Until then, make sure that if you want to give money to us in other ways, we can take some of that money and do some good in the community. And that is with the Lee County Humane Society, helping to make sure that animals are having an opportunity to get rehoused, right? So we want to get the animals off the streets and into a good home. The Lee County Humane Society is doing that work, and the War Report has partnered with them to help that happen. Hit the About section. You can hit the link for our GoFundMe. 50 cents on every dollar goes directly to that cause, or you can go to the website to check that out. The Weagle War Damn Eagle Kick 'em in the Butt Big Blue Hey t-shirts is available today. For those of you who want to get your weight up in the comments, one lucky person will be able to walk away with a free t-shirt at the end of this show. We'll make sure we get that out in the mail to you. That is sponsored by GWT2 Energy Consulting Services. Make sure you do hashtag get your weight up in the comments. If it's spelled incorrectly, I can't help you out. You can also make sure that you check out the podcast. Podcast's content is available every day. We're trying to get a pod out to you all every single day, weekday, I should say. And we want to make sure that you have that content. We will be doing pod exclusive content, or we've already begun. We're going to continue to do that. The NBA playoffs is going in full swing right now, as well as college baseball. So if you all want to do some props, head over to prizepicks.com. Make sure you are using code REPORT if you're signing up for the first time, and get in there and have a little fun doing some things on Prize Picks. Make sure you tell them the War Report sent you by, again, using that hashtag. All right, I teased it. It's time to tell you, patrons. Mike G, what day are we going to put this up for the patrons? You're on mute right now.
Mute. Yep, I'm on mute. So that happened. Guys, so we are dropping an interview with Derrick Brown.
Hey.
Ike Jones and I sat down with former 7th overall pick in the 2020 draft, Derrick Brown. El Presidente sat down with us and talked about a lot of stuff. We talked NIL, just what it's like for him in the league right now. This guy is a legend, and he chose to come back to Auburn when he could have made the jump. And we wanted to dig into how that decision might have affected him. You know, if he had NIL, how would it have affected him? You know, would he have come back for that extra year? You know, if he had an extra year of eligibility, just a great guy. He sat down and he took a lot of time. So very gracious to Derrick Brown for taking time to sit down with us at the War Report. We are going to make that live for our patrons tomorrow.
Yeah.
Everybody else, you gotta wait. And look out for the notification. So make sure you have all notifications turned on so that you can get notified if you're not a patron. But tomorrow morning, our patrons will be able to watch that interview. We are bringing back Building Rapport for the next few months. So look out for a lot of sit downs with former players and current players. We want to bring you guys this off-season content, and it helps give us better perspective into the minds of the athletes and their experience. So lots of that content coming. Derrick Brown is just the tip of the iceberg, guys. We've got tons. So if you're not a patron, you can help us get more of these interviews by becoming a patron.
Listen, man.
Don't you want
try
to
tell y'all we was turning up in May? I don't like having y'all doubt me.
Mm-hmm. And for the record, guys,
they do it at their own peril. Ike, go ahead, Mike.
And for the record, we don't pay for interviews.
Yeah, no, we've not paid for a single interview.
The War Report doesn't pay for interviews. Guys just sit down and talk with us because they want to sit down and talk with us. To me, that's the best way. No, not to anybody who pays for an interview, but ultimately, we call it Building Rapport because that's exactly what we're trying to establish with everybody that we talk to, whether you're a player or not. So,
right,
I say, listen. At the end of the day, it was fun talking to Derrick. He's going to come back. He's going to come back after his season is over. You know, he's busy. He's a busy guy. So when his season is over, he's going to come back in and break down film with Ike, and we're going to bring you guys some of that content. I promise you that will be patron only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Derrick Brown film breakdowns will be patron only. So, FYI.
Man, I would have been afraid he would have come through the live on me. Just the way he broke through lines. Like, man.
Yeah, but so.
Yeah, it was good talking to him, man. He was very gracious with his time. You know, I think one of the things that I enjoy the most about doing these Building Rapports is just like it is truly us building rapport with the person, because they will come and talk to us, do the interview, and then just sit there and talk to us more after it's over with. Like, we just sat and talked with him for, I don't even know how long we were
about an hour.
Yeah,
about an hour.
We just sat there and we like looking at film. Like, we were just, it was good. It was a good conversation, man. So Derrick Brown, very cool dude, man. Glad to be able to sit down and talk with him. You guys will love the interview when we drop it.
Yeah, way more. I'm always shocked. Way more gets said off camera, Caesar, than on camera.
Oh, yeah. For sure.
After the interview is over, and for some of these guys who we're talking to for the first time, you know, they don't know us, but by the time the interview is over, it's just like, all right, like, this is just regular conversation with football guys.
Right.
And we'll turn off the camera, and they'll be like, shit, right? Like,
oh, you cursed.
I didn't say the whole word.
He didn't say the whole word. That's true.
Okay. All right.
That's a Birmingham mumble for you.
SH. He said SH.
That's the Birmingham mumble. That won't catch the filters. But we turned the camera off, and he just gave us the real, man. And I thought it was great. Yeah, we don't get permission to repeat a lot of that stuff, but I love the conversation after the conversation.
Yeah,
it's always very telling, and it's always very revealing, and it helps give us perspective on the athlete's experience in college, right? I mean, it's changed so much just since when he was in school, and he still keeps in contact with a lot of these guys.
Right.
He said, once I play with you, you're my brother forever.
Yeah.
So I love the camaraderie our guys have.
Yeah, you guys will definitely enjoy that. And again, like as Mike said, we're looking forward to him potentially coming back on and doing some more stuff with us in the future. So, you know, awesome.
Let's run through a few family comments here. John says there should be a permanent weekly facts or nah over under how many times Mike G will cuss on a live.
I dig it. Mm-hmm.
I think I like that idea. Actually, John, do us a favor and tweet that. we might actually do that.
Listen, if we're putting real money on that, I'm gonna let you know already. It's fixed. I'm getting with somebody in the comments and be like, "How much we putting on that?" She. It's fixed. The fix is in.
Hilarious. Auburn Dad for life. Good to see you, man. Glad you're watching with us. Thing is, Dad's been in college program for 2 years and has surprisingly 4 years. Say it again, 4 years of eligibility left. This was a smart move for the future. I like these types of portal moves because these guys have an opportunity to really grow within a program and grow as a player.
And listen, COVID era players are literally getting an extra year of development.
Yeah.
It's an amazing opportunity to take one more year to step your game up before you age out.
For sure.
I think it's a blessing for a lot of these kids to have 6 years to play or 5 years to play, essentially.
Yeah.
Agreed. That's great.
Agreed. The person that you may have to get with, Mike, may be Jazzy because he says, I have 300 of something that might get Mike G to fail. So that may be your guy there.
I'll DM him.
Oh, good stuff. Another point by John makes: wide receivers don't have to be perfect this year, just more consistent and disciplined on blocking assignments. I think we will see improvement from last year. Your thoughts on this, guys?
Yeah, I mean, consistency is really the biggest thing, right? Can you count on them in big moments to either get the separation and make the catch necessary, or as he said, the blocking assignments, making the proper blocks? Because a lot of what you want to be able to do, and you saw a little bit of this in the spring game, is throw the quick hitter or run that speed sweep, right? Like those are things that require good edge blocking. In order to seal the edge, a lot of that is either going to be, a tight end lined up on the outside that's coming back to do, like a wham block or something like that, or it's going to be a wide receiver that's going to be responsible for making sure that cornerback's, whatever defensive back is lined up on the outside is not able to set the edge, right? So wide receiver blocking is going to be crucial for us to be able to stretch the field horizontally as well as vertically, right? Like it's not just about down the field stuff. Sometimes the horizontal stretch is going to be needed as well to make sure that your stuff that's between the tackles works a little bit better. If you get them running sideline to sideline, then you can get north and south a little bit easier in the run game as well.
That's why that 2010 offense was so good. That's one of the reasons. Darvin Adams and Terrell Zachary were two of the blockingest wide receivers I've ever seen. Wow, those guys could hold a block on the edge. So
Darvin's one of my favorite receivers, man.
Oh man, so underrated.
Definitely one of my favorite Auburn receivers because of that. Because when the ball was thrown his way, he was coming down with it.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he is the prototypical wide receiver that you want. That is, I don't need a lot of touches, but when I get it, when you throw it my way, I'm going to catch it. But I'm also going to do the dirty work. I'm going to block, which is a reason, again, why I really like Shedrick Jackson to have a breakout year this year. If we can use him effectively, and he's shown that he is more concentrated on catching with his hands instead of trapping it to his body, and he's always been a good blocker. So if he can use that speed that people have been talking about to just run those quick routes through to the middle, to the outside, or whatever, get some good hands catches out there, be a good possession receiver for us to be able to make, that third and long that we need in the seam, take a big hit, all that kind of stuff. And he can be the blocker that we need on the outside. Shedrick Jackson's going to be a linchpin in this offense, man. So, I've said it before. I think this could be a breakout year for him because I think that this staff has learned what he does well. And he's just getting better at doing that. So,
yeah, agreed.
Shout out to Walt Taylor, friend of the show, also the person who sponsors our giveaways. Maybe the biggest AU news this week was that both Suni and the Queen are coming back.
Listen, I hate
Let's
to
talk
tell you
about this.
I hate to tell you, but Ho's mad. They mad about this. There's a lot of them mad about this. So I tweeted about it.
T-shirt.
They are mad. Now, there was a lot of conjecture and a lot of negativity coming from the other side of the state about SUNY. I mean, traditionally, we haven't been a great gymnastics school. They weren't very good when you and I and Ike were in school.
No, sir.
Yeah,
No, sir.
you could throw a pin in the gymnasium and hear it drop during a gymnastics meet back in the day. But this is, first of all, I want to say I think that SUNY returning is indicative of a positive sports culture that we are building outside of football. Bruce Pearl said it. He said everything's school. I don't want to brag, but I tweeted, Bruce Pearl retweeted me. And I was just like, oh, I had to double check to make sure it wasn't like a fake account. I was like, is that the real Bruce Pearl? Did he actually retweet me? But he did. And it was the second part of my tweet that I'm sure he was agreeing with, in that we got something going on outside of football at Auburn. And SUNY choosing to come back is indicative of that. I think that she felt camaraderie here. I think she felt the love from the fans. I think she loved the culture. We embraced her this year. And what she gave us in return was way more. Yeah. And for her to give Auburn another year is phenomenal. I think it says a lot about her as a person. And I think it says a lot about the Olympic sports culture that we're building at Auburn. Everything school. So happy to hear that, man. I think, if she wants to go to the Olympics, the next Olympics, she's got to start training. And there are limited opportunities to qualify. That's why she was going to make the jump. If she wants to go to the next Olympics, she needs to start training almost immediately. So I'm not claiming to be an expert on this. So if I'm wrong, don't hold me to this. But I want to say that choosing to come back to Auburn for another year actually reduces the probability that she could qualify for the next Olympics. Because people were not understanding on social media like what the big deal was. That's the decision she was faced with. But we know she's good on money. Right. So, see, I mean, I don't know that her deals are any different now staying at Auburn than they are going to train for the Olympics. I really don't. I think she's probably making the same amount of money, but like, this is big. This is big for Auburn.
So, with that being said, how much fun is spring 2023 going to be for Auburn sports with Suni Lee coming back and Auburn basketball expected to be good yet again?
When does Julian Phillips announce?
It's coming up
14th?
Is it this?
14th?
Is it this week? I think it's this week sometime.
I think it's 14th.
Next week. Actually,
Next week.
It's either the end of this week or early next week.
Yeah,
I can look it up real quick.
It might be Saturday. But if we join, if we get him, that's an absolute coup. And Caesar's right. 2023 spring is going to be nuts at Auburn because this basketball team will have lost Walker Kessler and Jabari Smith and possibly have gotten
12th
better.
actually is when he's
12th?
announcing. Yeah.
This week. Okay.
So Thursday. It gotten better. You went out. You picked up Janai Brown. You got Johan, and then you're maybe bringing in this other kid. Plus, you've got Westry and Donaldson, and like what? Come on, man. What? How is Bruce doing this, man? He is a magician.
Listen, man, when you start winning, people recognize that that's a place where I can go play. Like you put,
I mean,
first round
year
draft
after
picks.
year. There you go.
Yeah, you put first round draft picks in the league like 4 years straight.
Mm-hmm. I wonder, guys. I'm not reading about all the huge NIL deals these guys are signing to come to Auburn. I'm not. That doesn't seem to be news.
Right.
It doesn't seem like NIL is hindering athletes from coming here.
No.
Right.
It just doesn't. So everybody keeps making a big deal about our NIL, whatever. I
think that there's more football players who are for whatever reason, they're leading the conversation on NIL as far as or they're leading with that in their conversations with schools. I don't know that basketball players are doing that as much. Maybe it's because with basketball you can go pro earlier, and so like they don't have to wait as long.
Maybe that's
a part of it.
And so like football players are like, man, shoot, like if I'm gonna have to do 3 years here, then I'm gonna need my money now. Like I don't know.
If you're so hard pressed as a basketball player and you're that good, you got the G League there as well. Like that's another opportunity. So I don't think basketball is that big of a deal as football.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
The point is that talent. My thing is, if you're talented, you can get NIL money wherever you go. It does not matter. Like, and that's the thing that like you don't have to try to make that a sales pitch to a kid. If he could ball, people are gonna want to stand. Listen, we have sponsors. All right, so let's you're telling me some talented 18-year-old football player can't figure out how to make sponsorship money work for him?
You're right.
Can do it.
Yeah, if I can call up a random business and say, "Hey, I'm Mike G from the War Report. I don't know how much you know about YouTube, but you should give us money." And some guy says, "You know what? I've never heard of you before, but okay." Some kid, almost every kid in college, NIL, it actually helps more so the kids who are not stars and would otherwise have no earning potential.
Right.
It does.
Right.
Because you're right. The big names, they're going to get their bag no matter what.
Right.
That's just the way it is. There's always going to be some business waiting to capitalize on. And you know why? It's because NIL presents an opportunity for them to form relationships with breakout athletes early.
Right.
So when they do go pro, and it matters.
People still giving him money for some reason. He's trash.
Yeah, it's a bet. It's a bet. You stupid. It's a bet that he will become something, and they will have been on the forefront of his stardom. People are rolling the dice, man. It's just gambling. That's all it is. So there are companies out there willing to do that. We've got some exciting things coming, with NIL. I'm actually dropping. I failed to mention this. I'm actually dropping an interview. So if you're a patron, you'll get the Derrick Brown interview, but everybody is going to get an interview we did with a lawyer from Gatehouse Law, and talking about the intricacies of NIL. So this is a series that we're continuing to do until the season starts to help educate people on NIL, what it is, what's allowed, what's not allowed, and the impact that it's having on college athletics. So lots of interesting content coming in that regard. But I just thought it was noteworthy that I'm hearing all these 5-star basketball players are committing to Auburn. And I'm not hearing anything about their NIL deals. Nothing. I haven't seen one article saying so-and-so signed a big NIL deal and is going to Auburn.
Right.
So
good. Well, listen, I'm excited. So SUNY still can qualify for the Olympics returning to Auburn. It's just the opportunities or chances is less than if she would have just left.
Well,
is that what I'm understanding?
The way that you train for the Olympics is drastically different.
Yeah.
Training with
gotcha.
Your collegiate team, and so she would have to do much more specialized training and her time commitments as well. Like if she's still in school, she's got to go to class. If she's training for the Olympics, that's all she's doing. She's just going, she's waking up, she's training. She might have some other appearance stuff that she has to do, for sponsorship things. But she's more narrowly focused on gym as opposed to splitting her time between gym and school. So
right. But there are qualifying events that she has to compete in. And I don't know that she could do that and be at Auburn at the same time.
Right. And so there's going to be less of those opportunities for her to do that.
Gotcha. All right. Well, listen, guys, it's time to give away a shirt. Time to give away a shirt. What shirt is that? I almost picked the wrong one, but it's the Weagle War Damn Eagle, kick him in the butt, Big Blue. Hey, we're giving away that shirt, courtesy of our good friend Walt of GWT2 Energy Consulting Services. If you want to give yourself a chance to win that shirt, you need to be putting in the comments hashtag get your weight up and hope that your name is called. Let's do this. How many we got? 34, huh? So if you're one of the 34, you should like your chances.
You should have very good chances. 35 now. Let's see who's getting the shirt. I told y'all I ain't playing with y'all no more. Getting straight to the money. George Miller.
George Miller.
George Miller, if you are still here, drop that little situation in your comment in the chat, and we can make sure that we can get you your shirt. George, if you're here, holler at us.
We'll wait for him. And while we wait, we want to shout out Rogue Shop for being supporters of the War Report. Who's a Rogue Shop? Good question.
This segment of the War Report is brought to you by RogueShop.com. If you're in need of high-quality, all-natural herbs and extracts that contribute to a happy and healthy lifestyle, Rogue Shop is the place for you. With a variety of products that contribute to a healthy sleep, lower stress, and a happy mood, Rogue Shop has you covered. Visit RogueShop.com and use code RAPPORT today. Tell them the War Report sent you. Hey, RogueShop.com. Shout out to our guy Richard at Rogue Shop. Make sure you put that code in, get 10% off. He's got some good stuff coming, and Richard sends me samples of things that they have. And I can tell you, there are so many uses for the products that they have, whether it's sleep or energy or whatnot. So if you're looking for something more holistic to solve some of life's ails, visit the RogueShop.com. They're a great sponsor of the War Report. If you want to support us, please remember, support us by supporting our sponsors, RogueShop.com.
Yes. And George is in fact here.
Hey, look at that. That's a first, isn't it?
That's what we like to see, man. Yeah, we like to see, man. Listen, this is what we need you to do. Email us at business@thewarreport. We need your physical address and shirt size. Congratulations, good sir. Congratulations, and enjoy your shirt. All right, guys. All right. I didn't think we'll have one today, but we got one. We got a big one. It is another challenge.
Yeah. Welcome to another Jazzy Challenge.
Congrats to Jazzy. Oh, I hit a million miles with my. I mean, yeah, as much as you've been on the road, sir.
How many years is that?
How many years is that, by the way, Jazzy? I'm curious. That is a good question.
How often is that?
That's a lot. That's a lot of miles. Lame location challenge.
And is that all in the same truck?
That's actually a very good question too.
Yeah, like how many trucks do you go through?
Seriously. Where do you think he is, Mike? I don't know.
Man, listen, every time I want to say Arizona, I don't, and then he's in Arizona. So this time
you're not gonna say Arizona.
I'm not gonna say Arizona.
Okay.
Maybe he's in Tennessee. He was in Tennessee.
All right.
He's in Tennessee.
I was gonna go in the southeast as well and say Haterville. That's Kentucky, by the way.
Kentucky?
Yeah.
Is he in the UK? Who knows?
I'm gonna go Arizona.
Arizona?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, somebody's got to pick Arizona.
Someone's got to pick Arizona, right? I'm gonna go with that. Let's see where Jazzy is. James Barnett says, I think people are underestimating this team. We are not without talent. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, 100%. Just a lot of psychics out here that just know we're going to be a 5-win football team.
A lot of Cleos, right?
Yeah, I'm not buying it. I just think that negativity is rooted in a disdain that people have already decided that they have for Harsin. And there were some narratives that got floated out there. It's clear the people who have limited the scope of their information to certain sources, because they have not left those narratives behind. I was arguing with somebody on Twitter the other day about Alan Green wanting to be at Auburn. And they're like, how could he want to be at Auburn? He interviewed for this job and that job. And I'm like, well, just because he interviewed someplace doesn't mean he doesn't want to be here. That's a really silly statement. So, we have to get behind our coaches and our team and show them that they've got support here. The season that Harsin is going to have is going to be really important to Alan Green's future, ultimately, I think, because no matter how well we're doing outside of football, it boils down to football. That's never going to change. So they need to show improvement this year. I just think that the culture change could have gone a lot worse than it did last year. People seem to forget 2012. The last time we tried to change systems completely, it yielded the worst season we've had in 50 years. 3-9, awful. So this year, last year, it just wasn't as bad. Could have gone worse. It didn't, and we competed. And I think that it's more likely that we take steps forward than we take steps back. That's just my thought. But it's primarily the Harsin haters and the Bo supporters that are the underestimated. There's no way we could have got better after losing Bo. Or Gus would have done X, Y, Z. Those are that's the primary group underestimating this squad.
Yeah.
That's very disrespectful to the work that these guys are putting in this offseason. This is just my feeling about it, but it is what it is. To each their own.
Yeah. Ken Willis says, I was at the AU baseball game yesterday. AU beat number 4 Archie. Yeah. Don't y'all think AU should pay me to go to their games? I think you should call NIL Auburn. Let them know what's going on and see what they can arrange for you, sir. For sure. Let us know how that turns out. Jazzy says, y'all are doing such. He says he's where? Oh, okay.
Another one.
Y'all doing so much. All this content. I might have to quit my job just to have time to watch out. Don't quit your job.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Please don't quit your job.
That's what we're trying to do.
Right.
We need you to stay on your job
we appreciate all of it, y'all. We appreciate you, man. Even as busy as you are hanging out with us, we greatly appreciate it. And that was in response to the Derrick Brown announcement as well. So Also, here, Big Gap says y'all need to get the homie Main Easy on here. What do you think about for a podcast?
Hey, listen, Jay doesn't do video. That's not his thing. I've
podcast,
talked to him
though,
about,
right?
I might be able to get him on a pod, but he doesn't do video. He doesn't like to show his face for some reason. So yeah, I mean, I've talked to him about this, and he's like, "Nah, man, that's y'all thing." I'm like, "Cool." So he lives a somewhat incognito life, and I respect it. So if he ever changes his mind and decides he wants to come on, hey, listen, I'm open to having him. But he said that's not his thing.
Steve says, yes, Mike G, you need to get Harsin to give us an interview. So I'm wondering, what role does the War Report family play in this? What do you think, guys? What do you think about this? I think we might need to put some pressure on Harsin.
Yeah, I think go to Twitter and just tag him and just, you know what I mean? And just build the pressure to make this happen. Tag him, tag Alan Green, and yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be quiet, but yeah, it's just I think we would do a very different interview with him than a lot of people would. I think a lot of our interviews are very different. They usually yield information you wouldn't hear in normal interviews,
right?
Because of the rapport that we establish with people during and after the interview. So, yeah, just, you know, I mean, like I said, I think you guys will be happy with the content that's coming down, regardless.
For sure. Jazzy is saying, I don't...
Listen, he's flagrant. Okay, so I'll tell this story. There's a certain person on Twitter. I'm not going to say her name because I don't want people to run into her profile. But she was very, very negative about SUNY going to Auburn and literally took every chance to just put down Auburn Gymnastics and SUNY, calling us a poverty program, and just was very loud about her disdain for the fact that SUNY chose Auburn. And then jumped all over the news that she was probably not going to return. Now she's returning, and our Twitter fan base, and rightfully so, is not letting her forget that. Just slow your roll, man. Like, you want to be a hater just way too hard. Slow your roll. SUNY's coming back. I know it hurts your soul. But with her and Sophia Groth and Darian Goburn coming back another year, man, listen, our gymnastics team is going to be a squad.
Again.
So
we're here. Deal with it. Jazzy says, no, 3 different trucks.
Okay.
Or actually, he came back and said he's in Wyoming. It took 8 years, started when he was 25.
Wow.
4 different trucks. Congratulations, man. What the dedication.
Yeah, man. 8 years to drive 1 million miles. Wow.
That's amazing, man.
Couldn't be
that. Couldn't be you.
No. I hate driving.
But yeah. I'm excited about gymnastics, man. And that's weird to say. That's interesting to say that here we are excited about gymnastics in the whole spring. I'm excited about what we're doing with Auburn baseball. We're doing well on the diamond. And so you're talking about yet another great spring. If you remember, in 2021, we had a down year in basketball, but we also had down years everywhere else. And that was kind of like a thing. That was kind of one of an indictment on the athletic program is we struggled in football. We fired Gus, hired Harsin, but we also had a down year in basketball, down year in baseball. And so it was like, okay, Auburn athletics needs to take a step forward. Well, now we're looking at 2 consecutive springs of just a really good spring as it pertains to baseball, basketball, gymnastics. Curious to see what women's basketball does, softball. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing just what we do, especially if we improve in the fall with football. On the heels of that comes an impressive spring. So I'm excited about what's happening with Auburn. We really are. Let me see. Is it too early to jump on the Everything School t-shirts?
They exist. They're out there.
You're already out there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's going to be definitely an uptick for sure, man. So I'm excited about that. Guys, you got anything else?
It's going to be these next couple of weeks for Auburn Sports. We'll be looking out for the Julian Phillips announcement. I'll be really interested to see if he signs. If
he does sign with Auburn, we might do a
live.
Yeah, that might be worth a spontaneous live. Because what an absolute coup that would be for Bruce Pearl.
Yeah.
I can't stress that enough. That guy is a hell of a coach. And he's doing it on and off the basketball court. He's changing the sports culture at Auburn. And, we've been a football school for so long, but the excitement over spring sports, over baseball and even tennis, swimming, equestrian, like just everything has been just great. And Bruce Pearl has been at the forefront of that. So him capping all that with landing another impact player in Julian Phillips would just be the perfect kind of cap to his year, I think, going into next year, and gives a lot of Auburn fans something to really look forward to headed into November. So I think we go to, do we play in the Bahamas or something next year?
I think so.
To open the season. We did that this past season.
I don't know if they've announced anything for next season.
Yeah.
Aren't they taking a trip though?
Yeah, we're playing in another tournament. I think they did announce it.
Auburn basketball going overseas?
Yeah, we're playing the open, like the opening season tournament that they play in essentially.
Mm-hmm.
It's down Maui, right?
Yeah, chat, help me out here. There is the Battle for Atlantis was the last one.
That was the last one.
Right.
I know they're taking a trip to Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw that. But there's something else that we're playing in that I was just like, okay, it's a chance for them to essentially get quality non-conference opponents. A couple of years we played Duke in some of these tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
I remember looking at the list and thinking, this is going to be an interesting beginning to the season. So they'll have some chances to test themselves early. Cancun. They're going to Cancun. Thank you, Justin Clayton.
Okay.
They are going to Cancun. That's it. So there's a tournament in Cancun that they're headed to, and there going to be some pretty good teams down there. And this is going to be exciting. It's going to be really exciting to see what he can do. We just gave him, $50 million contract, and I think the expectation should be that Auburn makes the tournament every single year. There should be no year that Bruce Pearl misses the NCAA tournament. And now that we become a premier destination for talent, I expect him to reload in the portal every single year. I think it's fair to say that should be the expectation now. We paid you like a top 5 coach in college basketball. And you've proven that you can produce that. So we just need to see it, every year now. It's going to be interesting to see. But I think it should be a foregone conclusion. Auburn makes the tourney every year. Every year from now until Bruce retires.
Okay. I think that's with the quality depth that we're getting. I don't think that's far-fetched. Again, if we get this Phillips, that's just going to be scary how we have literally guys coming off the bench that could start for other schools.
Yeah, let me put it this way. So we got one of the best high school players in the country last year, Jabari Smith, and we picked up Walker Kessler. And I think that recent history still has people's mind in doubt about what kind of basketball program we were. So we were very lowly rated coming into last season, like just barely inside the top 25, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, it's like 22, 23.
Yeah, we were picked to finish 5th in the SEC. There were no expectations really on Auburn. I'll be interested to see what kind of expectations now we have coming into the season. Now, we lost Jabari, and for the last couple years, they haven't been giving Auburn that benefit of the doubt. Right? You lose Isaac Okoro, you lose Sharif Cooper, and it's like, okay, they got to start over. But it doesn't seem to affect a lot of the blue blood programs that way because they expect them to reload no matter who they lose.
Right.
Now I'll be interested to see if Auburn has earned a spot in that we expect you to reload and be good every year. Top 15 will tell me that we're getting that respect. I think maybe top 10. Maybe top 10. What do you think? What says we're getting that respect?
I think top 15 is probably where we will land.
Reasonable.
If we had done better in the NCAA tournament, then I would say probably top 15. I mean, top 10 would be likely, but yeah, I think top 15. If anything outside the top 15, I think is disrespectful.
Yeah, I think schools like Arkansas, they're getting their respect because I think they made it to the Sweet 16 2 years in a row.
Mm-hmm.
So if you start doing that, getting into the tournament or to the Sweet 16 more consistently, people will start seeing you as a program that should make a run each and every year. You may not win it all, but they expect you to be in the picture.
Yeah, and does like last season hurt Bama? You were picked to win the SEC West and were nowhere near the best team in the SEC.
Following that logic, it should. But
right, it should hurt them. I mean, they should not be highly rated. And then their highly rated recruit, they lost, right?
Yeah.
Didn't Davison leave?
Yeah.
He's going to the draft.
Right. So
don't know why, but he's going
realistically speaking, prove to me that they got better. Somebody will have to explain to me. I swear I will blow a gasket. Now, it doesn't ultimately matter where they rank us in the preseason, but But it does matter when you start talking about who the best team in the country is halfway through the season.
Right.
That week that we should have taken number one that we didn't. That was the disrespect.
Right.
Yeah.
That was handed to us because where we started the season. And it didn't matter who we beat or how many games we won in a row. They were going to make Auburn win that extra game to prove that we were the number one team in the country.
Yeah.
But if I swear, man, if Bama gets picked to finish over Auburn this coming season, I'm going to lose my ever-loving mind. I just don't think there's no way, man. There's no way. We have to be, Auburn should be top 3. It can't be LSU. I don't think reasonably it could be Bama. It should be Auburn, Tennessee, Kentucky, maybe Arkansas.
Yeah.
Arkansas is going to be in the picture.
Those are your top 4 teams in the SEC going into next season.
Yeah.
John Brandon's Jesse Newell is not voting anymore, so that will help.
Yeah. Yeah. Justin wants to know, are we going to cover the tournaments that Auburn will be in?
The one in Cancun is a maybe because it's close. I mean, we're definitely not going to Israel. So, yeah, we y'all don't super chat nearly enough to make that one happen.
Right. Gotta brush up the old passport for that one. Well, for Cancun too, but hey,
yeah.
Listen, there's a chance we're down there covering it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Jazzy saying, who's going to Paris with me to watch Sunni compete in the Olympics? I won't be there, Jazzy, but I don't know. But I can't speak for Ike or Mike there.
I might be there with you in spirit. No, Paris.
You be safe, man. You be safe and enjoy yourself. Also, Jazzy is saying, I think we win the SEC with the team we have now. I mean, we got talent for sure. I think the only concern has just been scoring, getting buckets.
Correct.
And our best bucket getter is gone. Right. And I'm curious to see what Janai.
We got some dudes.
Janai Broom,
buckets, man.
Janai Broom can get buckets for sure.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious to see. I'm curious to see how this team comes together, and with the guys that we currently have. Like, don't sleep on the guys that we got that are coming back. Those guys can score too. They were just inconsistent at times. And I think as they develop and figure out their game, I think they will be much improved as well, especially when you have a big guy down in the post who can take a lot of that pressure off of you to hit perimeter shots. So
thanks.
I definitely agree. We will be a much improved team. I'm just excited. The key is health as well. We got to stay healthy. We can't lose a guy to injury during the season that we're depending on. So, all eyes take us to what? So you said it was Thursday?
Yeah. Thursday the 12th.
We will definitely see how that pans out.
Ike and I will be ready to go live if he chooses Auburn. If he chooses Auburn, we'll go live no matter what time of day it is.
Blake says my contribution to Israel Fund. War Eagle, keep up the good work you guys do for us, man. Thanks for hanging out with us, Blake. Man, always good to see you. We appreciate the love and support, man. Ike, tell people why they need to become a patron for the umpteenth time.
Listen, we already told y'all, if you're a patron tomorrow, you will get early access to that interview. Well, actually, any membership level, you'll get early access actually to the interview tomorrow. So we'll drop that for our members. So that's supporter level or patron level. You will get to hear that interview with Derrick Brown before everybody else does. But we have so much more coming up. We've got some unique chop it up situations that are going to be happening that are going to be patron only. We've got some more interviews that we're going to be doing. We're going to be doing some more some more patron only live streams coming up, man. We've got a lot of stuff that we are planning on doing that we're kicking off during the month of May. And you got to be a member to be a part of some of this stuff, man. Listen, we want to reward the people who've decided to give us some money, not any slight to anybody else who has decided that that's not within their budget. We appreciate you all for coming on and staying locked in with us on every stream, every content piece that we drop. But we just got to do something special for the people who are giving us a little change every month. We got you starting this month with the turn up on that. Lee County Humane Society is another place where you can support not only the War Report, but the charitable organization that we've decided to join forces with to help get more of these animals off the street. Rescuing animals is what they do, and we want to do our part. So you can hit the GoFundMe that is located in the About section on our YouTube, or you can go to the War Report website and check out that link there. We gave away a shirt today. But if you didn't get an opportunity to get the free one, you can go purchase one. We appreciate, I see all of those orders that have been coming through every week for merch. As we get into the middle of the year, I probably will do another merch drop. We'll probably turn up on this Get Your Weight Up merch a little bit more and see if we can get a new Get Your Weight Up drop coming sometime during the summer for those of y'all that want to flex your summer bodies. Maybe a couple tanks or something like that. We'll do that for you guys. But yeah, you can head over to thewarreport.com and shop with us there to do that. You can also check us out on podcast. The War Report is going to be turning up even more on the podcast content. So make sure that you are locked in with what we got going on there. And once again, shout out to our sponsor, prizepicks.com. If you all are interested in all the things going on with the NBA playoffs, or if you want to get involved in some things going on with baseball, you can hit prizepicks.com to get a couple of props going, put a card together, and maybe win you a little extra money for your time. So we appreciate all of the things that are going on. And just one more time, just because I want to make sure that we highlight them, Athletic Architects is our news show sponsor.
Hey.
We appreciate them for coming on board with us. So if you are a parent of an athlete, which we have a lot of parents who like to watch our show, hit them up if you want to try to get your athletes in line with the things coming down the pipeline with NIL, and make sure you got everything lined up properly so that they can get their financial future kicked off. Visit buildthehouse.com to connect with them, and thank them very much for their support of the War Report.
Yeah,
indeed.
Buildthehouse.com.
Got a few more super chats here. Justin Clayton says, thanks for the great content. Have y'all ever had Phillip Dukes on? We have not.
Not had it. And listen, man, I was telling the guys, man, he went to college with us.
Yeah.
And I actually used to kick it with him in college. I didn't recognize it because he went by a different name in college. I didn't know his real, I actually never knew his real name. Was
Dukes the Scoop.
His last name was Dukes. I knew his first name was Phillip, but we used to call him CP and call IG. Man, I was like, when I saw
I
him,
remember Phillips when I was at school. I remember him.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. And I ran into him at A-Day, and I was like, yo, I put it together like right then in that moment when I ran into him. So we'll try to see if we can get old Dukes to come through and do something, maybe a pod or something like that. I don't know. We'll see.
Jazzy Joe says, "Hey, real talk. Let's make an Israel fund to send the war report to cover it. Who's down?"
No, let me tell you something. There was a guy on Twitter that did something similar.
To
try to go to the national title game. I don't want that. I don't want that energy.
Yeah.
But again, if you guys want us, all you have to do is watch. Tell somebody else to watch the war report, and then watch some more. And I promise you, that's enough. For those of you who decide to put your dollars behind it, we are thankful.
Yeah.
But ultimately, we want people to support because they want to support.
Yeah.
And I don't think
the viewership going up will allow us to do exponentially more than a few dollars of contribution will to like a GoFundMe, because we can take that viewership and we can get more sponsors.
Yes.
And that sponsor contribution will turn into a monthly commitment from some company, right? And so if you guys want to come on board and be a member of the War Report, you paying that little monthly $5.99 goes a long way, trust me.
Mm-hmm. And then when you need some herbs, you go to our sponsors. You go to the Rogue Shop and you purchase something, and that helps keep the Rogue Shop. If you know somebody who's starting an LLC and needs help, please direct them to Athletic Architects.
Right.
If you want to support us, those are small things you can do that are free.
Yeah, that costs absolutely no money. Telling people, like I have a friend, I told you guys I had a show last night. A friend of mine came to the show and he was introducing me. He was like, "Yeah, it's my guy, da da da." And then he started talking about the War Report. And I was like, it was amazing. I was like, this is great. I'm here doing my hip hop thing, and then somebody tell them about my day job business. It's wonderful. This is the best night ever. So like that's the stuff that helps us, is just mentioning us to your other Auburn friends. And sending them a link, man. God, oh man, I saw this really great interview. Shoot them the link, right?
That's it.
You have a person who who is in business, and you're like, hey man, you should really think about sponsoring these guys, man. They do a really great job with their sponsorships. Mm-hmm. Shoot them the link.
One of the things that a lot of feedback we've gotten from you guys has been that the content helps make the off season feel shorter. And there's a whole segment of the fan base that unplugs from sports after football is over, and they don't plug back in until August. Right. We're trying to help us bring those people into the fold.
Yeah.
Right. Basketball helped us do it. Gymnastics helps us do it. And we're headed into what is largely believed to be the absolute doldrums of sports. After basketball season is ended, after the NBA finals and before football. And we're working hard to bring you guys content during this time to keep people engaged in Auburn sports 12 months out of the year.
For sure.
So that certainly helps. Right now, if you look around, there's only really a couple channels that are getting the views in the offseason in any. A lot of people, their views have fallen off a cliff.
Right.
And it's us and Blackerby essentially that are helping keep people engaged in Auburn sports here in the offseason. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, Auburn Dad for life. Before I get out of here, saying Ron, he's suggesting people we can talk to: Ronnie, Caddy, T. Reed. I do want to talk to T. Reed though.
Yeah, T. Reed would probably be a
good one. That might be a good one. I could probably make that one happen.
Would be a good one too.
Zach would be a good one as well.
Yeah,
I like Reed there.
I think Zach follows me on Twitter. I think he follows us on Twitter. T. Reed, asking you shall receive. Let's see how I can make that T. Reed one happen.
Hey, John, make the connection, man, and we'll see what we can do about those two guys. He's saying Nick Marshall and Cam Petway. We'll see what's up with that. Just make the connection, man. We'll see what we can do.
For sure. Guys, and also too, listen, this does, I say it a lot, but this helps as well. Share this video, guys. Help people who you're connected to on social media. Pick an interview, pick some of our best stuff that you enjoy and share it. and other people can see it and get to it. So that helps us a ton, guys. Put hashtag get your weight up so they can find our content. Please be sure to smash that like button, guys, on your way out of here. Also, if you want to interact with us on social media, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter, it's at The War Rapport. You can find us at TW Rapport on TikTok. That's it for now, guys, but we have a great week's worth of content on the way, so stay tuned. But until then, love on your moms. If you're a mom, enjoy your day. And as always, War Eagle.
Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Happy Mother's Day. Love you.
Happy Mother's Day.